Yo, what is good? It's your boy B Moore, joined by my co-host Rustin Stewart, and this is the From New York to the Chi podcast. Russ, how you doing over there, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm enjoying this NBA playoffs, man. Yo, I am so excited to have so many games on a night, man. It's just like a kid in the candy world, you know? Candyland, man.
It's true. It's like if you're a basketball fan, it's like heaven. You know, we get these like 2-3 weeks of just like pure joy. So it's amazing.
Yeah, man. It's been some pretty good games, man. You know, I just really want competitive games, B. These blowouts, man, it's not exciting at all, man.
Right. So what's been going on? Anything? I know you back in New York. You traveled back to New York for Memorial Day. So anything going on in NYC?
You know what, man? I just been kind of laying low, man, B. Just I feel like I'm in between two worlds, you know, because I haven't really got settled in Miami yet. And I feel like coming back to Brooklyn, I feel like I just went on like a long vacation, man, not realizing that, no, I have an apartment down in Miami that I need to go back to. So it's just that in-between feeling, B. It's a weird feeling, man.
Yeah, it's not really real yet until you got to really get down there and stay, you know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah. I came back too soon, man. You know, I was just down there for 3 weeks, so now it just seems like it was a long vacation, man. So, yeah, I'm flying back out on Saturday, man. I think I need to stay down there for at least maybe 2 months, man, before I come back, man.
I was surprised when you told me that you were headed back. You know, I was like, what? You going back to New York? Why? Like, you caught me off guard when you told me that you were going. So,
well, a lot of people were surprised, and a lot of people were like, damn, we didn't even get a chance to miss you, Russ. You're back already, man.
Right.
But I really didn't want to be down there for Memorial Day weekend, B. You know, I've heard horror stories about Miami and Memorial Day weekend, so... You know, I talked to a couple of guys from Miami, and they told me if I can, man, get the hell up out of Dodge, man. So I got that plane ticket to come back up to New York, man. So, you know, not really yet ready to kiss it goodbye yet, man.
Yeah, the 2 times in my life that I've been to Miami were both for Memorial Day weekend, and I had the time of my life.
And you had the time of your,
the time of my life. So, so look, I've been taking golf lessons, Russ. I'm on like, I started golfing, man. So, I'm actually been going to the range, and, you know, I've been hitting, I'm pretty good on my irons. I'm not great on my woods and the hybrids yet. I can't really get on that driver yet. But I'm in a golf class, and our last class is next week where we actually go out to the actual course. And I'm going to enroll, you know, to golf 2. I'm in introduction to golf 1 right now. So it's,
you know what?
It's been cool, man.
I love it, B, man, because, you know, I'm going to let the people know that Brian has no problem taking lessons, and I respect that about you, B. I mean, I definitely respect you about that, man, because I need to do a little bit more of that, man, because Brian will take dance lessons,
I've taken
he'll take golf lessons, Spanish lessons, but, you know, I love it, man. You know, you keep on evolving, man. You know, you're not sitting still, man. I love that, man.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get right into our show. We're going to start the show on a different note. We're going to start with tennis. And this is not foreign to you because you are actually a tennis fan. I know that about you. Like, you will just sit and you'll watch tennis. I am not a tennis fan at all. I don't think I've ever really watched like a full tennis match. I did it for work when I used to be a sports producer, but I've never just done it in my personal life. So I'm going to give a little bit of background for people who don't know about tennis. So Naomi Osaka withdrew from the French Open for mental health reasons. Now, Naomi Osaka, she's 23 years old. She's a Japanese tennis player. Her dad is Haitian. Her mom is Japanese. And she's the current number 2 ranked player in the world. Now, Osaka grew up in the United States, and she won her first Grand Slam at age 20. And on May 26th, she wrote in a social media post that she would not take part in any press conferences for mental health reasons. So after doing so, she was promptly fined $15,000 and threatened with expulsion by the tournament organizers. And Naomi Osaka responded by completely withdrawing from the tournament. And she said, quote, "I never wanted to be a distraction, and I accept my timing was not ideal, and my message could have been clearer. More importantly, I would never trivialize mental health or use the term lightly." So, Russ, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I wish Naomi nothing but the best. I totally understand her reasons for not wanting to get up and talk to the media after, her matches. They're going to have to figure out something to do, B, because I know that, talking to the media is part of the player's job, because let's be honest. I mean, if you want to push tennis, like I'm a big tennis fan, right? Like you said in the beginning, a lot of people, like yourself, aren't really fans of tennis. But in order for you to push the sport that you're playing, you have to give more of yourself. You got to give your personality, and that sometimes will bring more fans in. But they really just have to figure out what they're going to do going forward. I think Naomi is going to be the spark. A lot of athletes have tweeted about this event with Naomi, and they have to figure out something to do, because you take a loss, Brian, and maybe you miss the 2 free throws, and then you go into that media room, that press conference, and those reporters are lighting you up. And we all have these things that we have to deal with mentally, and it gets to be tough. We look at these athletes that they're strong, they can do all things, but we don't really focus and wonder about how their mental's doing, because it's a lot of pressure, man, B.
Yeah, totally a lot of pressure. And I really don't know how I feel about this, because, I have been a member of the media for the past 20 years. And I know that this is part of her job. This is part of it. You don't get, as a trainer, you don't get to just train your clients and that's it. There's other things that you have to do that are part of your job. And you can't just say, well, for mental health reasons, I don't want to do this part. One of the reasons why they do get paid this money and they have all of the notoriety that they do is because of the media, and it's a part of the job. So it's difficult to say I'm going to do one part, but I'm not going to do the other part. But at the same time, if someone is struggling with mental health and depression, those are very serious issues. And if she feels okay to just play her game, which is what she is, an athlete, she's a tennis player. If she's okay to do that, but not necessarily okay to do the interview portion, I feel like there probably should be some allowance that should be made for that if she's having a tough time. So I don't, it's one of those things. I agree with you that they're going to have to figure it out some kind of way, because Naomi Osaka, I don't know her financial situation, but she's a big tennis star. I'm sure she's not hurting for money. This is just one tournament. I think the people who lost are the French Open, not her. You know what I'm saying? In this situation,
I think the people that lost, Brian, are the French Open people and also the fans, right? And I do respect the fact that she was completely honest of what she was dealing with. She wasn't one of these athletes that just said, "No, I'm not talking to the media," and just clown them. Right. She came out, told everybody what she's struggling with. And I've been a fan of Naomi since, she came out, and she has really evolved into a very respectable role model. But when she first came out, she had real trouble giving those interviews after the match. You can tell that she was very soft-spoken, very quiet, very timid. And I've watched her over the years. Now she's more assertive with her voice, and she definitely gives better interviews and gives the reporter more. But you can still see that she's not totally comfortable speaking in front of people. So, I wish her well, and it's something that is definitely going to have to be addressed in the future, because mental health is real. It's a real sickness. It could be, an injury. An athlete can't play because of an injury, and mental health is pretty much the same, man.
Yeah. So definitely, our thoughts and prayers go out to Miss Osaka, and we wish her the best in terms of her mental health, and we hope that she gets better soon. So let's switch gears, staying with the sports angle. The NBA playoffs are going on right now, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and there's been a lot. It's been a lot going on, Russ, with the playoffs. There have been 6 incidents specifically that have marred the NBA playoffs, and I'll just run them down really quickly. Game 2 of the series between the Washington Wizards and Philadelphia 76ers, a fan dumped a box of popcorn on Russell Westbrook's head as he was heading to the tunnel after an injury. I think he injured his ankle, and he was heading to the tunnel. Game 2 of the series, this is the second event. Game 2 of the series between the Hawks and the New York Knicks, a fan spit at Atlanta Hawks star Trae Young. I don't know if the spit actually landed on him. I don't know if he spit on him or spit at him, but the fan definitely spit at Trae Young. In his
direction. Over 50 Cent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had that. And then in the same game, Game 2, Knicks player Emmanuel Quickly said someone threw a beer at him in the same game, and that's weird because he's actually a Knicks player. So there are 2 incidents that happened in the same game. Then we go to our next incident, Game 4 of the Brooklyn Nets between the Boston Celtics. A fan threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving as him and his teammates exited, after winning, the game. Then we go to Game 4 of the 76ers and Washington Wizards game. A fan ran on the court and was tackled by security. And lastly, the Utah Jazz banned 3 fans for harassing Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant's family. They were shouting racist and sexist insults, and this happened during Game 2 of that series. So that's 6 incidents in not a lot of time. And Russ, what is going on?
You know what? It's definitely a black cloud over these playoffs with all these fan instances. I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand how people can go watch these amazing athletes play, and just because you don't like the visiting team, you feel like you can spit or throw something at these players. I mean, these people are human beings. Yeah, they play a sport and they're so gifted athletically, but that does not give you the right gives the fans a right to throw anything at them. And I feel like they need to be prosecuted outside of the arena, not just banned for life. Because what if it's somebody that went to one game, and they don't have season tickets? How are you punishing this person? So I definitely feel that they need to be prosecuted.
Yeah, the Game 4, the fan that threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving, he was arrested and charged with assault and battery of a deadly weapon. And also the Boston, that was the Boston incident. Yeah, he was arrested. So what people don't understand is, even though they're entertaining, because these are athletes, so they're entertaining us, these are people who are at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is their job. This is literally their job. Just because it may seem fun, that doesn't mean that it's not their job. These people are just at work. No one deserves to be assaulted at work while they're doing their job. And we talked about this the other day, just off wax while we were, on the phone. There's a racial undertone to this. There's definitely this whole shut up and dribble racial undertone, because it's never a black fan throwing water or popcorn or spitting on a white basketball player. It's never a black fan throwing water or yelling racist things or to a black player. It's always a white fan somehow directing this negative energy towards a black player. And I feel like we really have to address the elephant in the room, because it's never black against white. It's never black against black. It's always the white fans feeling that they have the authority or the audacity to just say or do whatever they want to do to these black players while they are at work. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You know what, it's definitely an undertone. It's like, like you said, shut up and dribble, shut up and perform, and what is so crazy to me is that they're saying these racist things to the visiting team, right? The black players on the visiting team, but you realize that there's black players on your team too, right? So it's just like you don't care anything about your players on your home team or the black players on your home team if you can use that verbiage to another black player on the visiting team. So it really hurts to see, and they're only doing it, Brian, because they know that these players can't get at them. They would never do this on the street. And that's what Russell Westbrook said. He was like, yo, if you came up to me on the street, you know how it's going to go down.
Well, not even the street, because like we said, these players are at work, right? Whether it's a game or not, these players are at their jobs. What job can you go to where someone will pour popcorn on your head while you're sitting down at your desk, at your computer? Or what if someone threw a water bottle at you while you were doing your work in your office, or someone came and spit at you? Like, no other place would this be tolerated. You know what I'm saying? These people are at work. This is what they do for a living. Right. And to feel like you have the audacity, or you're within your rights just because something didn't necessarily go your way, or they did something that you didn't like. Now, Kyrie Irving, when I assume that the reason he's had a checkered past with Boston anyway, the way he left and all that kind of stuff, but he walked to the Leprechaun, which is their Boston Celtics mascot, and he kind of, smudged his foot on the face of the Leprechaun.
Right.
Was that unnecessary? Yeah, it was a little bit unnecessary, but is that a reason? Does that warrant someone throwing a water bottle at you? Absolutely not.
Hell no.
So,
no. they
it's entitlement. It's a sense of, I guess that's the word I've been searching for. There's a sense of entitlement.
Right, that they paid.
That I just don't, I don't understand.
It's that sense of entitlement, Brian, because they paid, however much they did for their tickets, right? That they feel like they can go in there, and then, alcohol plays an effect too, right? That's why a lot of stadiums shut down the alcohol, like in the third quarter or at the beginning of the fourth quarter, because these fans get unruly and they want to act up. I mean, people give more respect to the zoo animals, at the zoo. You don't see people throwing things at the zoo animals. So why are people throwing things at other human beings? Like, this is their job. And they have all these security guards when you go to an NBA or a football game that don't even watch the game, they're watching the audience. So either they need to implement more of those people or get those cameras on it, because it's not cool, man. Back in the day, remember when the players went into the stands? I mean, that was in the 90s, and this stuff is still going on, But like, we can't do anything. I think that was early
2000s, right?
Was it early 2000s?
Okay. Because we were out of college when that happened. So yeah, that was early 2000s. Yeah. The Malice at the Palace.
It was at the Palace.
But no, I totally agree with you. These players, not the players. These fans need to be prosecuted. That's what needs to happen. It can't just be banned, because, like, again, we were talking the other day, I can probably count on one hand how many basketball games I've been to as a fan. Now, I've been to 1 million basketball games working in the media, but as a fan, I've only been to maybe 4 or 5 basketball games personally. So to say that you can't do that, that's not a huge loss. Telling someone that they can't go to a basketball game anymore, people rave about how the experience is better at home anyway. So that's not the biggest deal. So these people need to be arrested. It needs to be on their record, and they also need to be prosecuted. And it has to be more than a ban. And also, their names, because their cameras all over the place, their faces and their names need to be released. Like the fan who spit at Trae Young, all you see is his shirt. Right. We know that there's a different angle. We need to see that person's face so everybody can see what an idiot this guy is. So names and faces need to be released, and they need to be prosecuted.
And the families of these players are getting harassed in the stands. And now can you imagine, you're trying to, do your best on the court, field, or whatever, and you have to kind of worry about, is your family going to be okay? Come on, y'all. It's ridiculous. Right, yeah. It's a game.
Yeah. All right, switching topics, Russ. And this is nothing sports related, but comedian Monique. You're familiar with Monique, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Monique was in the news again. She, these past couple of years have been kind of rough for Monique. She kind of fell from grace because she had like this amazing career, as an actress and all of that kind of stuff. And now, she's always just kind of been in the news for something, but she's very opinionated, as most comedians are. And she was in the news this week and got a mixed response from people when she stated that she was shocked at seeing so many young black women dressed casually while walking through the airport in Mississippi. She said women were wearing head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, and blankets, had blankets wrapped around them. And she said it's not just the airports, but she's also seen this in the stores and malls. And she asked the question, when did we lose our pride in representing ourselves? So what do you think about that?
Oh, that's a heavy one, B. That's a heavy one. The people know I just moved down to Miami, and I haven't been on Collins that much, okay. B. But I am kind of in the same boat as Monique. The things that I'm seeing out of our people on Collins in Miami, South Beach. Come on, y'all. We got to do better. We got to do better. It's just, it's tough, B, because I know it's a cultural thing. I know there's so many layers to this, but you never catch me looking out of place if I'm just even going down to the bodega to get a soda, right? You won't catch me looking crazy. So I don't understand how these people step out of the house and they're like thinking that this is a good look. Like, somebody needs to tell them, like, okay, maybe you shouldn't put that on.
Yeah. I'm all for being comfortable at the airport. One thing I notice about getting older, Russ, it's more about being comfortable. I just want to be comfortable now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you notice about me. I don't really, I own a shirt with a collar, but I don't wear collared shirts. Like, I don't wear anything I have to button up. I just care about comfort. And if I'm not working, I'm usually wearing sweatpants. And, if I'm definitely going to the airport, I'm definitely wearing something comfortable, sweatpants. I care about comfort. But at the same time, there is a line that should be drawn between, like, I don't feel like you should be walking in the airport with a shower cap on. You know what I'm saying? Or, but with black women and their hair, that's a touchy subject because a lot of times, they're wearing head wraps and scarves to keep a certain style and to not mess it up. With guys, so, wearing do-rags, like if they have braids and stuff like that, a lot of times these things are used to hold the hair in place. So I don't know if I care as much about a scarf or a do-rag because that is our culture and that is kind of what we use to maintain our hair at times. But like bonnets and shower caps and being at the airport in pajamas and stuff like
that's
that.
That's my big thing, B. Yeah, and I was gonna say that, B.
That's too much. That's too much. I feel like we should be presentable within reason. I don't feel like you have to be dressed casual, to go to the airport or to go to the store or something like that. But I feel like you should be presentable.
Me and my brother always talked about this is, back in the day, flying was a luxury. It still is a luxury for a lot of people. So when people went to the airport, you didn't have to be dressed up to the nines, but you presented your best self. And that could be Brian casual, but it's not coming out with pajamas on or a shower cap or like flip-flops. Like, people, when you go to the airport, it looks like people just roll out of bed and be like, oh, I'm going to go catch a flight today. Like, Where's your sense of pride? And you never know who you may run into at the airport. So I'm always trying to put my best foot forward. Yes, I'm definitely comfortable. I'm not in like a suit flying, but I'm presentable, and I just don't understand the thought process of these people that just put on anything. But you're
the
right.
other thing about men, it's easier for us because it's easier for a man to be presentable than a woman. If I'm going to the store, I can literally throw on a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, some shoes, and that's it. But for a woman, if her hair is not done, either she has to put on a hat, or she would probably wrap it up with something because, women have to, especially black women who don't have the long enough hair to just put in a ponytail. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times.
Well, they can still look presentable if they just throw on a hat. That's fine.
But some women don't like wearing hats. Some women
keep
might
that hair
feel more
done.
comfortable just, some women might feel comfortable just putting it. So I don't have a problem with the scarf. I have a problem with like a shower cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you wearing how growing up, you would always laugh at the kid's mama who picked them up at the school wearing like robe and a shower cap, and you'd be like, that's so embarrassing.
Or not even the shower cap, be the rollers in their head still.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm gonna tread lightly on this subject because I don't want a whole bunch of women calling me, calling into the show next week like, you don't know the struggle that we go through.
No, but that's what we're saying. We're saying that there is a struggle. I'm saying I do understand that it's easier. It's a lot easier for a man to look presentable than it is for a woman because she does have her hair, and if she doesn't feel like putting a hat on, I could see how you would put like on some kind of scarf just to kind of wrap it up or to keep it style. So moving on, I see where Monique is. I see where she's coming from, but at the same time, I feel like there's a balance. There's a line somewhere in between that we could probably meet to where we're not completely not presentable, but where we can still kind of be comfortable to just run some errands or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, Russ, moving on. We got phone calls, bro.
Oh, phone call. Somebody loves us.
Phone calls are back. So if you want to send us a voicemail, you can always either text us or contact us directly, or you can send us a voicemail to FromNYCToTheChi@gmail.com. That's FromNYCToTheChi@gmail.com. All you have to do is just record the message and just press share and send it to that email address.
And as long as it's not just like dogging us or saying something mean to us, it could be pretty much anything you want to talk about. You could be like, hey, Brian and Rustin, what are you guys doing for the summer? Or what's your plans for the 4th of July or something? It could be anything, y'all. So it doesn't have to be like this, amazing question that you have for us. It just could be just saying what's up to us.
Yeah, people a lot of times say, well, I don't know what to say. You say anything. Just, you can compliment us. You can tell us if there's something you don't like. You can give us constructive criticism. Just whatever. Just reach out to us. Let us know that you're listening. We enjoy your calls. So we will get to our first call just like this.
Okay, so this is Crow calling from Lake City, Florida. And I was calling to say, first off, that was not a flu game or food poisoning by Michael Jordan. That man was hungover. We are all adults now. We can let that childhood myth and narrative go. We know what hangovers look like. We've all experienced them. Secondly, Rodman wasn't on that championship team with the Bulls when the Rockets won those titles. So, no, he wouldn't have been the player to lock down or guard Hakeem Olajuwon. Horace Grant was still with the Bulls at that time. And as a new topic, I'd like to hear y'all discuss the watering down of manhood and the over-labeling of toxic masculinity in today's society, and when women don't accept accountability for their actions.
All right, Crow, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. So let's go in order. let's go in order. So Crow, you're telling me that Michael Jordan, let me get this straight. You're saying Michael Jordan was not sick during the flu game. You're saying he was hung over. Russ, to that you say what?
Hey, I don't know if he was hungover, food poison, flu. I just know what he looked like. Okay, so at the end of the day, Brian and Crow, he was playing sick, and the man could barely stand up. So that's all I'm paying attention to. I mean, he's throwing up over on the sideline. So whatever it was, I just know that he played his ass off in that condition.
You know what, Crow? I'm gonna tell you like this. It doesn't matter whether. Let's just say he was hungover. That makes him even more of a rock star because that means he kicked it the night before,
right?
And still came and whooped their butts the next day. So that means he got it in the night before and still, did his thing on the basketball court. I think he was sick. We all know Michael Jordan did work hard, but he also played hard. That's fair. But from all accounts, and we also had, I know your phone call is because you listened to the show last week. Thanks for listening. And we heard Scoop kind of give his recount of Michael kind of vomiting on the sidelines. And from all accounts, from people who were there, and I've talked to many of them having worked in the Chicago media, they all say that he was definitely sick. But whether it was from a hangover or whether it was food poisoning, the bottom line is that MJ got the job done, and who knows whether it was a hangover or not. He still brought that chip home.
Whether he did this damage to himself by drinking too much the night before, Crow, or his body had got a virus, flu, food poisoningness, I don't know. But I just know how he played that game, and it was very inspiring, and will go down as one of the most inspiring games an athlete has ever played.
Yeah, as they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Moving on to your second point. You got me, Crow, but you didn't get me as good as no, hold on. I see you chiming in over there, Russ. No, he didn't get me all the way. He didn't get me all the way because, yes, Horace Grant was gone in 94, but he wasn't on the Bulls team in 95. He didn't play with them both of the years that Houston won a championship. He didn't play with the Bulls because if you think about it, he did play against Hakeem Olajuwon in the 95 championship when Houston beat the Orlando Magic. So we split it. I was wrong.
I thought he said Rodman, not Horace Grant. The argument was Rodman.
He said Rodman was not on those teams because Horace Grant was on those teams both of the years. He said Horace Grant played for the Bulls both the years that Jordan was gone and the Rockets won the championship. That's not true. He was gone the first year, right? He played for the Bulls in 94, but in 95 he went to Orlando, and that's when Houston won.
Right, but when did Rodman come to the Bulls?
Rodman came 96, 97, 98.
Okay, so what
I'm saying is I was wrong, but he was wrong halfway too.
Yeah, because you were saying that Rodman could guard Hakeem, but Rodman wasn't on the Bulls then.
Right, and and Crow was saying that Horace Grant was on the Bulls teams both of those years, so it wouldn't have been Rodman. He wasn't on the teams both of those. So I was wrong, but Crow, you were a little bit wrong too. I'm not gonna give Crow full this is credit. My show. You ain't gonna have me fully wrong on my show. It's my show. It's my show. All right, and lastly, Crow, clearly you are trying to get us canceled by the ladies, talking about what do we I had to actually look up the term toxic masculinity because I've never heard it before. I don't, and looking, I still am not exactly sure what it is, but I know the last part of your question was, how do we feel when women don't do what they're supposed to do? I'll say this. In a relationship, all you can worry about is your side of the street. You can only clean your side of the street. You can't really, I'm sure, there are a lot of things that men do that women don't like and vice versa. but you can only take care of what you can take care of, and I will leave it at that, because I'm not go have women coming at me because I'm talking crazy on this show. You know what I'm saying? On the From New York to the Shop podcast, we love the ladies. We love the ladies.
We do love the ladies, but I do have to say this, B. I do have to say this about this whole toxic masculinity, right?
I was going, definitely chime in, because I wasn't sure, and I looked it up, because, you know, I do research for this show, and I looked it up, and I wasn't exactly sure I've heard the term, but I don't know exactly what it is. So, Russ, can you please enlighten us on this?
I'm not going to really even touch that, because I'm the same way. I don't really know what that term. I know I've heard that term, and they throw it around a lot, you know, on the news or whatever. You know, these people, these so-called experts pop out that word a lot. But I'm just going to talk about, you know, I'm all for women empowerment. I'm all for it. I'm all for women getting equal pay. I'm all for that, right? But, you know, women can't go around preaching, I'm independent. This is a woman's world, da-da-da-da-da. But then when they're dating their guy and the bill comes at the restaurant, you can't be like looking around like, oh, you got that. You know, you can't play both sides of the fence.
Right.
And I've been seeing that a lot with, you know, the women empowerment, which I totally get, but you can't jump back over and be, oh, we need to be cherished and done all this stuff for, when you're like talking about all this independence. So you just got to pick one, either what side of the fence that you're on.
Yeah, it has to go both ways. Like
it has to go.
It can't be one way when it suits you. Yep. And when it's not necessarily convenient for you, you know, that way doesn't apply anymore. It has to go both ways, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But, you know, relationships are tough, man. You know, when it comes to guys not doing what women, you know, want us to do, and women not doing what guys, you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, you just try to do the best that you can and take care of what you can control, and that's all you can do.
And I feel like, you know, a successful relationship, there has to be roles established. You know, I mean, those roles can be whatever. It could be nothing sexist. It could be anything, but these roles need to be established. Okay, the man, I'm going to be responsible for this. You know, the woman's going to be responsible for this. And then they can come together on some issues that they want to do together. But there has to be some like defining roles in the relationship.
And you do what works for your relationship.
Right.
Like there's like someone else's relationship doesn't apply to your relationship. That's not the relationship you're in. Like you that's the thing of it. You get to design it, you get to mold it, you get to be the GM, so to speak, or the leader of your own relationship, and you get to figure out what works best for that, you know. So I think a lot of times people look at other people because, you know, especially when in the Instagram and social media area, people people always put the highlights, and it looks like things are all peaches and cream, when that's not necessarily what's really going on. So how many
times, Brian, have you looked at somebody's Instagram page and it's all their partner all over their Instagram page, and then before you know it, right, those pictures stop coming up, and like, something might be a little messed up in paradise over there, you know?
Well, Russ, this is funny. I remember telling you, there's this one relationship that I was in, and you know which one I'm talking about, but this girl was big on social media, and we would be in the heat of an argument, like bitter, or like a war, and she would be putting pictures of us like smiling and laughing, and I'm like, is she in the same relationship I'm in? Because we not talking right now, you know what I'm saying? But these, you know, she will be putting pictures up like everything was cool. So people show you what they want to show you, you know what I'm saying? So I think in terms of that, and you know what, next month, I believe next month we're going to make it happen. We are actually going to have a relationship expert on the show. I'm teasing it. I'm not going to say exactly who it is, but we are excited. We are definitely going to try to have a relationship expert because admittedly, neither Rustin or I are relationship experts at all. So it would be nice. But people want to hear about relationships. That's one of the things that when people talk to us about the show, they say, we want to hear more about relationships. We want to hear more about relationships. So it would be helpful to get somebody on the show who actually is kind of trained in that kind of stuff,
right,
to kind of talk about that.
We definitely have the experience to be an expert, Brian, because we have been in our fair share of relationships over the years, but we're still no experts. We're still trying to figure this out.
Exactly. So, Crow, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. We hope that we answered your questions. We tried to answer them as best as we could. And if you have any more examples about toxic masculinity, I know we kind of skimmed over that, just hit us back and we will try to like be more specific with the answer. It's just kind of, I don't really know exactly what that meant. So good show, Russ. I think that was a good one, man.
Yeah, man.
So I know you always tell me what do we tell the people? If the people want to support the show, what should the people do?
They should definitely subscribe. And it's funny too, Brian, because a couple of my friends were like on it with the subscription. They're like, and we subscribe too right after. I'm like, all right, it's getting through. It's getting through. So yes, definitely subscribe on all platforms.
Definitely subscribe to the show, and don't just subscribe, but also tell a friend to tell a friend. We are not just on the podcast platforms, but we're also on YouTube. So shout out to all our YouTube viewers. Thank you for supporting us. But don't just subscribe and don't just listen. Don't just keep all of this goodness and all of this, knowledge that we're dropping for yourselves. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. And, that's how more people know about the podcast, and that helps support us. So thank you guys so much. Am I forgetting anything, Russ?
I think you covered all the bases, man.
Okay, cool. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at BMore4 Photography. That's BEMOORE, the number 4 photography. And Russ, where can they find you?
You can find me at Rustin _ Stewart. And I just, I figured out how to do these reels. These reels that everybody puts up on Instagram. I mean, I sound like an old man now. I figured out how to do the reels.
Right. Right.
But yeah, a friend showed me how to do it. So, I've been putting up, I'm going to put up some more exercise videos using reels. So, it was kind of cool, B. I put one up and I probably got maybe like 10 or 12 new followers just from that one video. So I guess reels are the way to go.
Yeah, because anybody can see them. It's not just your friends. They put it out there like literally to the world, and you can be discovered by anybody. So that's kind of dope. Yeah, I put some of the reels up for what we had Scoop Jackson on the show last week, and I put some of the reels up, and we've been getting some followers from that as well. So
that's what's up, man. Yeah.
I love your I always check out your pages, and I'm always looking for the new exercises that you put up, because you always have the specialized exercise things I would have never thought of. I always enjoy seeing those.
Yeah, I appreciate that, B. And I'm trying to do that more, man, because we are living in this social media world, where it's very powerful if used correctly, very detrimental if not used correctly. So I'm trying to use it correctly.
Right. And so you're headed back to Miami next week?
Headed back to Miami on Saturday. The weather really wasn't cooperating here in New York for me, but hey, it's still New York City. It's still an amazing city, even with the rain and the cold. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting down to Miami and getting some of that sunshine.
Cool. Well, I will holler at you next week from Miami. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, this is the From New York to the Chi podcast. As we always say, peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Next week, y'all.
Hey, living life and grinding every day. That's the way I play. Never mind what the haters say. Chasing paper today. Living life and grinding every day. That's the way I play.